All right, all right. Shalom, shalom, shalom to the whole house of Israel. All right, all right. Shout out in the room. Got them early birds. All right. They used to have a saying, the early bird gets the worm. Hope that's a good one. Here come. All right. That's Anthony just popped in there as well. All right. Yeah, yeah. Okay, family. Give you a wave, give you a wave, give you a wave. All of you, even if you ain't in the room, we thank the Father for all good things and how He continues to build in our lives. You know, it's always good to know and to understand. And I think that's the heart today as we are in this season, in this new year, of course. We are praising. This is the first month. Hallelujah. And we are preparing ourselves and getting ready for Pesach, Passover as well. And that's some of the things for the next couple of weeks in a way that we'll kind of be discussing in that. Coming from Galatians chapter 5 is sort of, we can go other scriptures, of course, but that's sort of like the foundation of where I was getting this from or trying to pull from, of course, in that. And so we'll appreciate the things that the Father has done for us. And we want to look at some of the obstacles to the obedience in that. Why is it sometimes, I guess you could put even obstacles and hindrance, the same word in that sense. Some of the things that kind of get in the way from us being obedient to the things of the Father. It was a time, I think, in Corinthians, of course, Shaul Paul was writing to the Corinthians is like, okay, you was running well, paraphrasing, you running well. And then what hindered you? What was it that hindered you? So the next couple of sessions, we normally do 2 sessions, or that's the norm. And sometimes we do 3 or more. But for the next 2 sessions or so, one of the things we're going to talk about is you was running well. And this is a thing that we are doing is examining ourselves, in that. And I think in verse 7 of that, the Galatians 7, you was running well. Who held you back? Reading in the scriptures here, who held you back from obeying the truth? And so that's where we want to kind of lock in at is, of course, someone else is recognizing that you no longer believe in the truth, right? But somebody has persuaded us, influenced us. He said that who was that? So those are some of the things that we are looking at. Is what is persuading you, getting in the way? Sometimes it may not. We normally narrow it down. What is that one thing, that seems to can't shake it? And for some of us, it may be many things. But what is that one thing that seems to hold you back from obeying? So somehow it just gets in the way from you doing what you need to do. And so those are the things that we will work on in that. And like I say, we're coming up to a powerful covenant meal that the Father has given us. He gave us his feast. He gave us his appointed times. And so we have to keep his times and not man's times. And so that's what we have a desire to do, is to make sure that we keep what the Father has given us. In that process, though, it was saying in verse 9, a little leaven, it leavens the whole, all complete, the lump. So we need to focus then on the little leaven. One of the things that we do is get all the leaven out, physically in our homes, those things. We go for, 7 days or more, making sure that we get the leaven out. And then we introduce ourselves to unleavened bread daily, And I'm so grateful for that because it helps us. It gives us a time when we go into the first month like this to make sure that we find ourselves in a place of trusting the Father. And it's all about trust when we're doing these things. And it's always good to do that. So one of the things is some of the things we can talk about today, brothers, is who or what can hinder us sometime for obeying the truth. Now there's so many things, but we'll just believe in the Ruach to just lead us in this portions of what we might have. So it's not the all in all, but we can talk about some of the things and how it can distract us, right? Falsehood can always distract you from that, from your spiritual progress. And we want to make sure that we understand that, right? So we'll talk about here, just, some of the things, if it's in your heart, that, may hinder us from knowing that, from knowing the truth. So most times we are okay until somebody introduce something else, and how easy is it for us to put down what we believed before and to grab something else? And sometimes that's very difficult for us because we may be in a particular tradition, a tradition of certain religions, and so what hinders us from progressing? What hinders us from doing that? When I discovered those things, what is it? So sometimes it is very difficult, and we may say some things on tonight, but yet I will say it can be difficult because of the surroundings or the assembly where you're at, your neighbors. It's just so much that goes on today, so much, and it's only difficult in that sense. But somehow we have to be a people of adjustments and begin to go in that. So we'll open it up, Jedediah, to see what we can, what's some of the things that hinders us in our lives sometimes. You can have those ideas if you want to share something personal, that's fine. But most times, if we saying stuff, it's not necessarily it's us that's in this, right? So I want to also make that known, unless it's saying this is what I had or this is what I, struggle with in those things. So we getting our hearts ready. We creating in us. That's what the Father is doing. A clean heart, right? A clean heart. So, all right, my brother, we'll just have you to come up and share those things with us real quick, and we will begin to roll in that.
Shalom, Moray.
Shalom, my brother.
Praise Yah. And it's
Hallelujah.
something similar. We're here, heading into another year of feasting with the Father. And this one is just so good and important. They're all important.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
we have you know certain days that we like more than others. Pesach is definitely it's up there. I can't say it's my favorite, but I will say and because of the way we do Shavuot. I'm sorry, Sukkot. The
Jacob.
way we do Sukkot is the reason why it's like I'm at odds. Like which one is my favorite now? But I love this one this season, and because it's about me. You know, really focusing on honing in like what you said, what is holding me back? What is stopping me from getting closer to the Father? There are a lot of things that are out there, like you said, Elder, especially in this world. It's just so much out there. For
Yeah.
me, I get personal and I say it was my phone. You know,
Yes.
uh, now if I'm on my phone doing things where I'm studying or something like that, that's one thing. But I also find myself not studying. I'm on social media, I'm scrolling, and I'm just doing things that are vain, you know. So for me, I know I have to put that down for like the last couple of weeks and truly focus on like what's in front of me that I can't see. What am I not realizing because I'm distracted? Because the distractions are always there. And my phone, for me personally, like a lot of people in this world, it has been a major distraction for me. So I had put social media down for the last couple of weeks, and so that's one of the things that I can look at and know for sure that this is causing me to not really pay attention to my walk, you know. And it could be things that have come on there. It actually was things that came up, and I was like, "Oh man, I didn't want to see that," you know. And ask the Father for what my eyes have seen, you know, and
Hallelujah.
I had to get, get those things out of my life, and because those things can bring about certain thoughts that you don't want there, you know, because I had to deal with that as well. Um, I think another one would be work. Is work getting in the way of family time? Is it getting in the way of me spending time with my family and the word? Is it getting in the way of me doing the things that I need to do to help build the kingdom? Because the Father has chose all of us to be worthy vessels. At least that's what we're striving for, you know.
Yes,
So I look at work as well. You know, how is that going for me? How is it uh, causing me to go backwards in a way where I'm not focusing on the walk and focusing on um, my my relationship with the Father? Because my relationship with my family, my relationship with my brothers and sisters, is my relationship with my family and with the Father. Because how I treat you and how I treat my family is how I'm treating the Father. So I have to like really take a step back and look at those things, and that's just something that I wanted to get into. And even me and I was looking at something like, man, we got to do something. We got to figure something out because we finna go into this Pesach, and we want to make sure that we're able to present ourselves with clean hands, you know, and a clean heart to the Father. And it's just so many other things that you can just go into. And I'm pretty sure someone could be thinking right now, like this right here is causing me to go backwards, you know. Um, and just also my thought pattern. How am I
that's good.
thinking? That right there is huge for me because I find
Hallelujah.
myself thinking some of the most negative things. I'd be like, why am I thinking this? And I just have to like get those things out of my mind. You know, um, going through certain things to help me stay focused and not have negative thoughts, not have negative thoughts about people, you know, and trying to be as optimistic as possible because I can definitely get into one of those modes when I just think the whole world's against me, you know, and trying to prevent that because that can easily push me somewhere where I don't want to go. Now I'm saying something I didn't want to say, I shouldn't have said,
Right.
and I'm doing something I should have done because I'm reacting to my thoughts and I need to get those under control, you know. So those just a few things that just come to mind um, for me as in what could possibly be causing a stumbling block for me in my walk with the Father through his son Yeshua.
Absolutely, and we'll keep you our dialogue with you just a little bit because I think you set the sort of the tone of some of the things. One of the things that has been even at the assembly that has been prominent is we've been focusing on our phones. Now we're not presenting that the phone is some kind of evil, right? We're not doing that, and you wasn't saying that. But those are the things we have to recognize what's taking more control, what's putting those obstacles in our way of doing other things, right? And it could look different. I'm sure it does look different from every person, but to omit, that's one of the things is when we think about this 11 is to omit. So we can deal other words, if I use this example, we do and we can make bread, right? But doing unleavened bread, we can't have leaven, right? So we looking at matzah. So we looking at something else here. The thing is, for most of us, is we use the phones, but the leaven part of that, I'm gonna have to realize that that wait a minute, this may not be good here, right? I want to be able to get it out in the concept of how we're using it today in that. So each time, that the things that sometimes hinder us is the things that we use the most or need the most. Some people, what will I digress to this. Some people would have, uh, uh, say if I had a car, and because no matter what it is, but I just have to, go and spend all this money on it. I'm always wiping it down. I'm waxing it. The first thing I do is get off from work. I go out there and make sure that the top is still on it. The tarp is on it, should I say? And I'm going out. I'm checking it, make sure the dirt ain't hit it. Did it rain today? And all of these things, and it starts to consume. It's nothing wrong with having a car, you know. And I think, it's nothing wrong if it's fancy, you want to fix it up, is in that. But when it starts taking over, then it could bring about an obstacle. And I think you said some of the things of taking away from you and work and different things like that. So it can become, and I think right now, one of the big things, like you were saying, even when I'm looking at it, is the phone, is those things. So I need to, whatever we are having, we need to start learning how to use it as tools, and then not to run over to other things, because it can. And I think you mentioned those things, because sometimes things that come up, come on the side or whatever, all of this stuff sometimes is uncontrollable. And I think that's what gets me sometimes, is like, hey, where does this come from? So the algorithm or whatever, I click on one thing, and I didn't mean that thing to go way over here, but they making suggestions, in that. So here these suggestions come up. If I click that, no, I can't go there. So it is just like being in this world. We constantly having these challenges. We having these things that we need to do. So these are the things that, like you were saying, that we'll look at as well. And so some of us, even the job consumes us, or what you're doing for your labor in those things. It can consume you sometimes, and then you won't have the other things being available. So I just wanted to just kind of connect with you on that. You said some good things in that, and especially the number one thing I see now, that it is, we need to look at these phones. We need to look at them, because it is. I seen some things, and it's very, very important. It's very, very, it is pulling on us. It is pulling on us. So we need to get those things out of control. Okay, my brother, Yehoshua, hopefully that it did not gave you a little bit more time to think about what you would like to, deliver to us and encourage us and powers us up today. Uh-oh, I got the wrong one here. Let me see if I can. There we go. There we go.
Shalom,
Sneaking up.
shalom, shalom.
Shalom, my brother.
So, I'm lagged out right now, so I'm not sure if you're seeing. I mean, I know I'm not seeing what you're seeing, so maybe I'll jump out and jump in or something.
Well, we see you. Is that the question you asked him, my brother?
Oh, okay. Well, cool. Because
Yes,
you're
yes.
all are frozen on my screen.
Oh, okay, okay. That's all right. Go ahead and
Well,
roll.
it's
We'll
it's
let you
probably
know.
me. So. All right, praise God,
Yeah,
praise God.
hallelujah.
And all glory to His name. I'm just grateful. We have a lot to be grateful for, and here, like everyone was saying, beginning the new year for us,
Yeah,
according to the
hallelujah.
scriptures in the Most High, it's good. We all like a new start, right? And I think being able to renew the covenant and focus on the Messiah, as he was saying, to do it in remembrance of him when
Mm-hmm.
we eat the Pesach, the Passover. It's just a really good time. And as Jedediah was saying, even it's up there. I really love Passover. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to pick of the appointed times which one's the best. I think the Sabbath,
Right.
of course, always wins, but there's a lot of good things. And just as you were saying in the beginning, when from Galatians, there's a lot to that, especially as you were saying that you made a statement. I think it was on the Sabbath where you were talking about the Most High loving you first, and it was something about that that just really just clings to me in my mind. and lines up with this understanding about running, but then being held back. And there's a lot to me in terms of the leaven that we can get out. And as Jedediah was saying, there's some distractions. Actually, in my personal reflection, that's one of the things that came up about the what holds you back, and the distractions is one of them. And I had a little thing that came to me in that it was about, of course, each person put in their own flavor, but it was about putting things down and then turning it around. About knowing, when to realize I've been distracted, and then how to rewind or reclaim that time, because we do have a very obsessive mindset in this culture that we're living in America, where we need everything. I think some people call it like fear of missing out and things like that, where it's like we have to be on the cutting edge of all information, and it can be a bit obsessive. We can find ourselves distracted, and our possessions are doing it. We have a lot of things that are entertaining, and managing that is not easy. A lot of people think they have it under control, and there's extremes on both sides of the spectrum. So it's each person's gonna have to be, like you said, we're gonna have to be honest. Um, and something that came to my mind in that was about following the Messiah. And it's recorded in Luke where the Messiah was saying, if anybody comes after him and doesn't hate his mother, his father, his children, his wife, his brothers, his sisters, and his own life, he's unable to be my taught one. And whoever does not bear a stake and come after me is unable to be my taught one. And I was thinking, it's like, wow, how I'm gonna have to learn how to love things less, and than I love the Father. To love the Father and follow the Messiah more. And it was just, I think one of the easiest ways to look at that is my time. That's what the struggle is. You've got 8 to 10 hours you have to be here, and then you're worn out and you're expected to be there, and then managing your time and being fair with your reflection and prayer and dedication for fasting and all of those things is just, it could really cause the leaven, like the hypocrisy or the being double-minded or being idle, to build up in us. And I know for a fact that's definitely something, like, I'm trying to master. I don't have it mastered, but I definitely am working on it. And I think that's a lot of the reflection time, that what we're talking about today. What are these obstacles that have hindered, me from being more present and being more attentive in my walk with the Most High, and, like, just getting things out of the way, you know? Because I mean, it should be something that took a year of reflection, right? We think about getting the leaven out. It's like, okay, well, you accumulated it after last Passover. So, we could think about all the things that, you had since the last time you got it out. Hopefully it's not this renewing cycle, the same old thing over and over again. That's no growth is going to come out of that. But like you were saying earlier, sometimes it's little things that get in our way. And I think the Messiah talked a lot about that. He would use the word hypocrisy a lot. And there was one particular instance where he was talking about how to help your brother. And that's what I think came to mind the best for me, with what obstacles are in the way. And for me, it's that whole speck and plank understanding, because sometimes we underestimate how much greater self-correction is over unwarranted advice. Everybody has their own convictions, and sometimes we've interjected ourselves into someone else's life, sometimes even without permission, and overrided, an opportunity for them to get either what they needed to, or maybe each person can go through it differently. It's very complex for me, but that's me. Sometimes I'm making it too complex. But for me, it's one of those things where, I don't know, our struggles, each one of our struggles, where we're working on what we can overcome, and trying to realize that there's differences between each one of us, and that the process that we need to go through is similar. That, this person may struggle. This person may struggle with cell phones or screen time, as we would call it. That person may struggle with isolation. Like they may want to be alone all the time. And we're supposed to be a collective. So there's all different ways to go about it. But for me, I can just see how easy it would be to say that I can help you more than I can help myself. And I think that that's one of the problems with the this form of hypocrisy about wanting to help my brother out with the speck in his eye when there's clearly a lot bigger situation going on in mine. And as the Messiah was saying, first, remove the log from your own eye. And I think that's where we're at, getting it out of our life first, and then we'll be able to see clearly to help someone else that's going through something that may seem similar, because we're all going to struggle and suffer if we're in the Messiah. But it's all gonna feel or look a little bit different, but we can't use those as excuses to put up walls in between one another. But yeah, that's just what's on my mind, at least right now, is realizing, like you were saying, we have areas of compromise, we have areas of strength, we have areas of weakness, and realizing that we can't give excuses for us not to change or stop being distracted.
Absolutely. In that, so I was thinking about as you was talking, what really came to, like you were saying, to mind, and I don't know if we can be able to do this or think about it and then do it, but there are how do I know, right, that the teaching, because most times, like in this situation here, and then of course the Mashiach told us to make sure that we understand certain teaching can bring about leaven in our life, right? In that. And so when we have different influences, and I think that those are the things that sometimes that hinder us or put the obstacles in our way. How what is some ways that I know that this teaching or this influence, and I think we that's what we are talking more more about, probably influence than most teaching, it is from Yahweh or it's not from him. What is some of those things that I can discover in that? What do you feel about that, Jedediah?
Um, it has to line up with the word of Yah. If it's not lining up, then we know that's not from him. That's from the adversary. You know, um, we read in the scriptures that he's not the author of confusion. So if I'm getting something from someone and I'm being taught and I have it and it's good, but then someone comes around and backdoor it, I may end up in a place of confusion, or I just may just jump on it, like we say, jump on the gravy train, because it sounds good, it feels good, but when you unpack all of it and you pull it out the box, you'll see that it's not good because it's not lining up. And I even myself found myself, before, like, man, that just sounds good. So I want to go with what sounds good. I want to even when it's people that a lot more people are doing it. So it's like I want to do it too. Everyone they doing it, so what could be wrong with it? But it's what they doing lining up with what the Father has said for us to do, you know. So we should examine everything. We shouldn't just receive it and say, "Oh, that's good," and roll with it. I know for me, something that I like to do is like when someone presents something to me, I look at it, and if I still can't figure this thing out, I get with my teacher, you know, or I get with a dear brother that's close to me, and you ever heard of this? Like, what is this? Um, because at the moment when it came to me, it felt really, really good. But if I latch myself onto it, I'm like, this is it, and then someone
Mm-hmm.
comes in and pop and just straight destroy it. Now I'm gonna feel some type of way about it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna be emotional about it because I attached myself to something that was false. And I say a lot of us have been in that situation, especially before coming into covenant. It's a lot of things that we once believed, we found out that wasn't true. So it's one of those um, slippery slopes. And it's actually looking at this at a scripture from see Isaiah 40:31. It says, "But those who wait on Yah renew their strength. They raise up the wings like the eagles. They run and not weary. They walk and do not faint." So when we get something that sounds good, let's wait for the Ruach to deal with us with it first before
Mm-hmm.
we just try to jump right on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I even done that with things that are true. Someone gave me something that's true, and I'm just like, let me sit back first before I accept it. And come to find out, hey, that's right. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it goes both ways. It can be wrong or it can be right. And it's better to just be patient with whatever information that you got that's new and it sounds good. Let deal with it from a spiritual perspective and leave your emotions out of it because emotions will get you hurt.
Oh yes, without a doubt, without a doubt in that. So, Yehoshua, what are you thinking, my brother? Think he froze up on us? Yeah, he did. You did froze up that time if you didn't see us or could see us, and all of those good things in that. So if I think he may come back, go out and come back. So there, are you there? Give us a wave.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there you
I
go.
can hear
There you
you
go.
at least. I'm still
Yeah,
locked
yeah,
up.
yeah. I know you're not feeling your best, so we won't be too much longer. That's for sure. All right, roll
All
on,
is
my
well.
brother.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm enduring. You got to go, start to finish. Nothing's turning me around. But yes, sir. Are you asking me to answer your question from earlier?
Yes, that's what we
So
dealing with before you froze up there.
I'd say, well, Jedediah gave the right answer. It's all about the word.
Mm-hmm.
Um, your relationship with the Father's word, each individual is what's going to be the measurement of, I guess, how you move with your belief. It's in Romans where it talks about in the 10th chapter, it'll say that, however, not all obeyed the good news.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes on and says that Yeshayahu said, who believed our report? So then belief comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of Elohim. And we would know from a Hebraic context that hearing is also going to be synonymous with obeying. So for us, I think the way the word leads you into obedience is really going to be the proof. And that's it for me. It's this understanding that the truth or knew the truth is we for me, I didn't pay attention to what I heard, and I what I did hear, all it did was bolster like this philosophical understanding of never really brought about any change in my life,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Hmm, says I'm frozen.
All right.
Um,
Yeah,
but
there you
yeah,
go.
just trying to overcome philosophizing the word. I think that's something that's happened over many generations and still happens today. But I think it really dulls the edge of the sword, because we end up making the word nothing but human reasoning and we'll twist it and use the opinions we like the best to be what we drive as the truth. So there were plenty of things that I once believed that if I searched out in the Word, it wouldn't be so. So now realizing the truth that there is an ignorance that is legitimate. There is a real level in as an obstacle, one's ignorance. But there's a worse level to that, and I'd say it's a willful ignorance. You can choose what you don't want to know. And
That's
sometimes
good.
when you learn
That's good.
more, you're now accountable. And so when we hear the word, that should be synonymous with us not just knowing it, but obeying it. And those are the obstacles I think we have to overcome. If I read it and it says do this, and I believe that the author is the Father by his set apart spirit, then that means that I need to turn these words I'm reading into actions in my life. And with that I'll overcome whatever obstacle, so that it's not just something that I've learned and I mentally possess. I need to bring it out through my hands. It says to love Yah with your heart, your soul, your mind, your being, your strength. So those, we're talking about bringing it into action. Where most of the love that I encounter when I talk about the Father and the Most High, people have expressed it to me, and I've expressed it, that it's just like, as Brother Jodiah was saying, it's coming from an emotional context. I can love him and I'm grateful for him, but he says, if you love me, keep my commandments. So if I give him back the control, he turns my love into a language of obedience instead of a philosophy and some sort of example that I create.
Hallelujah. Yeah, yeah, that was good. Yeah, that's yeah, you dropping good fruit right there. That was good. The obedience. So it can be, I like that. The word, it can refine that of what my obedience can be. And I don't have to like kind of guess at it. He kind of tells me, right? He kind of tells me about that. Like in Exodus chapter 12, verse 15, it said, for 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, right? That's, I mean, that's what we should do. Indeed, on the first day you should cease. Oh, someone's flying there. Whoa. All right. About that time of the year, I guess. Cease from your houses and, wow, it's going to the light, I guess. Lynette. And for whosoever eats unleavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, the being shall be cut off from Israel. Right? So it is a serious situation, right? It's a serious situation. And we have to be able to adjust in that. I think you guys have echoed. I think one of the biggest challenges, somehow I always say this, I wish somehow I could have caught on to this of being younger, but maybe that's the process. I don't know. I think some may be the process, and some may be if you can catch it earlier, then the wisdom of Yah could be more a blessing in your life. But the main thing that drives us is feelings. From day one, it's feelings. Every time we do something, the feelings get into it, and part of that is being who we are, and maybe part of that is the creation that the Father has put in us, and we would use the word human, right? But I know that it is feelings because instead of just saying, oh, I don't want to, I don't want to eat unleavened bread for 7 days. I, I don't want to eat that for, the feelings get in the way. How am I do that? I can't do that. So feelings, anytime we come up upon something, it's feelings. Anytime we have a change, it's feelings. We say we have a job working to 8 to 5. Then they come in and say, okay, I need you to work from 12 to 8. It's feelings that gets into that, because we like 8 to 5. So there's feelings. There's always something in that that goes along with that. Now we can't be like I say, in a part, we need those feelings in order to guide us into the truth in that, and maybe that needs to be explained, but I don't want to take too much time into that. But once you have the truth, then your feelings is tied to something. All right. So it is either tied to the truth, it could be tied to falsehood, or it could be tied, I think some of you may have mentioned, it can be tied to confusion, right? So whatever it is, it's always in that. So I think somebody had mentioned in this is the Father said, if you love me, right? So right there, when you say that, we have a whole lot of feelings and what we got tied to love or what we think love is, right? It's a whole lot of feelings in that. It could be expressed in, say our wives, our children, even dogs, cats. It's a lot that goes with that, right? And then no matter what I have been taught or what somebody had told me, when I look at the scriptures, right, it's going to tell me if you love me, and you have said, it says, keep my commandments. It has absolutely nothing to do with a feeling. So in order for me to prove to myself, right, it's a self-examination, and this is what we be going into. We examine ourselves. We're not looking at nobody else right now because I got a lot to go on, even myself, right? So it's a self. So there is no emotion whatsoever tied to that. But since it said love, that's where my mind went. Oh, I love him. Ooh, I feel it. I got chills. All of that. If I love him, then I'm keeping the commandments of Yah. So if I want to do I really love him, then I need to look at I'm keeping the commandments of Yah, right? In that's and so in doing so, then the joy in doing so, I am thankful, right? Because everything is solid there. Everything is solid. So it's concrete. It's not just out there. It's not just woo. It's none of that. And I think sometimes we get into things and we find ourselves that it even says that the first day in 16, the first day is a set apart gathering. It said a set apart gathering. Now what it could be, most times maybe at your assembly, or if you don't have a place, it could be in the home, it could be in the park, it could be wherever, but you gathering together. That already lets me know that it's not a just me thing. So what I need to do somehow, and even we got different stuff today that can cause that to even happen quicker, just like we're doing today. You guys are in different places in your home, right? And so we are gathering in order to do power up, right? So we doing this through our cameras and all of that, but we still gathering together. We are together. We're expressing together. And if you're looking at it at this time, it's live. It's real. You see, we got froze up and all that, right? And so all of those things. So we are gathering together. So you need to gather. You need to get together. The same thing with Pesach. They have confusion whether it's in the house and all that. But we won't go there. But one of the things I just want to say is, and maybe next time as well, that we can get more. It is a challenge with how you feel about something or how you do something, because this is a prominent one right here. If I say this is going to hurt their feelings. And I don't care, I know in the States or maybe all over the world, I don't know. But for here and in the States, we have used that a lot. If I say this is going to hurt their feelings. Or I do not want to hurt their feelings, right? Because we have a lot of feelings into a lot of things, right? We say that. And so if I say that, then if I know, right, that my wife loves me, and then what she is saying to me, I'm just saying we'll use a correction. If she loves me, it has nothing to do with her correct. Well, why are you putting this over there? I'm just making up something, okay? And my feelings get into it right away, you know. But I should know that whatever she is saying is for the best, right? So I don't want to let my feelings just, go, let them go, right? Before I respond in that, right? So I can say stuff like, "Oh, I don't know why I put that over there, but let me look at it. Let me take a look at this." If my feelings get into it, I say I put it over there because I wanted to, right? Because my feelings into it, because I think you what do you I put it over because I wanted to. But in relationships, we're gonna have to make sure that I can't let my feelings get into it. When she's saying something to me, I have to automatically, okay, she's for my best, she's my wife. Okay, let's have a discussion about this, you know. And let those things get in there because I let my feelings get into it. Oh man, my feelings would get into it, show it the world. So this is what I'm saying. It is a big obstacle to obedience because it has absolutely nothing to do with your feelings. First thing, but we'll go back to the phone. The first time you talked about that phone, those feelings gonna go off because what happens to us, and maybe we'll deal with this next time too. What happens to us is called addiction to, right? To something, whatever you fill in the blank. So after a while, we get these things, and this is why we need breaks. We need, I think, Jedediah, we're talking about fastings. We need these things to break the routine, right? To break those routine. And so sometimes we need those things in order to help us. Because if we don't, if we just keep going, we just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. And it just gets so difficult. And then it becomes what we call a stronghold. So if you want to know something and coming to this time, if you want to know something that's a stronghold, see how you feel, because when a stronghold comes, it gets you in your feelings, right? Because it's stronger. It gets stronger and stronger. In this sense, I'm trying to explain it. It gets stronger and stronger, and then it gets you to a point where your feelings are attached to it in such a way you don't want to let it go, right? You don't want to let it go. And so if anybody mess with that stronghold, then you're going to come against that person. You'll forget all the loving your brother. You'll forget all caring for one another. You'll forget all be patient with one another. Forget all have mercy with one another. And so all of those things, because our feelings are getting in the way. So the number one, we can have feelings now. We have tears, we have joy, we can have feelings, but I'm thinking now that this obstacle here to our obedience is our feelings. We need to say, "Up, it's okay." It's okay. So when we have the word, that's one of the things that we can always look at is how I'm feeling about this, and then begin to work on it. Now it takes work. And I'm gonna tell you, it takes work because we have been in our feelings for, according to your age, that's probably how long we've been in our feelings, right? And you still may get in your feelings like that. But if you put it in the right perspective, then it's gonna help us when we trying to knowing what's somebody else is trying to influence us the wrong way. So we'll know those things. So. But I'm gonna go ahead. We got time is getting us. So if you want to share anything else, we'll do another round, and then we'll pick up some things in part two, I guess, in that. So Jedediah, you want to come up, my brother? You can share some things, something that you need to share, and we'll get ready to wrap it up.
Yes, sir. I was actually going to see if we could. Going to pass it to Yehoshua. I know how he feeling today, so
Okay, good. You always thinking about, see, that's loving your brother right there. And he leaning to the side there. Come on, my brother. You got something. We gonna hang on in there.
I'm good. I'm good.
Are you
I'm
good?
good. Praise God. Yeah, did it? I see. Smooth how you said that, but I know it was really up. Nah. Praise God. Um, I guess if there was anything left, there's always more. Especially dealing with us. I mean, we could. This is just natural. But I say there was something else I had down right here as a closing thing, and it was from First Peter 2, and it's the 7th through and the 8th verse. And it was talking about what the Messiah has done. It refers to as preciousness. It says, "This preciousness then is for you who believe, but to those who are disobedient, the stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone, a stone of stumbling that makes for falling." And it says that they stumble because they are disobedient to the word to which they were also appointed. And that's the thing that gets me. It's like the
Yeah, good stuff.
word for the obedient is the same word to the disobedient. The only difference is the matter of acceptance. So just like what you were saying with everything we deal with, there are things that we bring into our view, and then there's things that we put away. And I think that when it comes to this season, that's really what we're trying to focus on. And is the thing which could help me, causing me to stumble. And I think the only reason why it would is like you were saying, is maybe I'm feeling a certain way about it. And anytime, like you said, that word love is brought up, it really causes us to make it a little personal because we're all grateful in our own way, to what the preciousness is that the Messiah has done for us. Um, but we also need to remember that our forefathers, I mean, they were delivered, and the word to which they received hardened their hearts and caused them to rebel. So there really is a difference on how you receive it, and I guess it has to matter. It has to matter to you. For me, uh, coming to the end of my obsessions and my addictions and those things, yeah, it's difficult, but I'm pretty sure when it's all said and done, I'm not going to be missing these things that held me captive. I'd rather be free. And so I think that that's really the point of this. The obstacles, um, they're holding you captive. They're holding me captive, or they're causing this good word, this rock, the chief cornerstone opportunity that I could build on to become a stone of stumbling that makes for falling. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same stone. So I just look at it that way. It's like perspective really matters, perception really matters, and I guess being honest about what type of self control I have. But every addict says they got it under control.
Right.
And I don't mean always something like something nefarious or diabolical, like
Correct.
I'm YouTube
Yeah.
addiction or gossip addiction. Um, there's also fashion shopping addictions. I'm gonna take a shot. Beauty treatment addictions. I'm just saying, whatever it is, there is this something that I'm obsessed with, and sometimes we need to cull the obsessions, and really realize that this time, and I think one of the most powerful things about being a human is our appetite, and whatever I'm hungry for, it's really going to show a lot about me. And in this season, the things the master wants us to be filled full of are things that are not puffed up. You know, we're going to be filled with those pure things, those clean hand, clean heart things, and that's what the season's about. Because there are many obstacles to obedience, but we know the one who can break every chain. We know the one that can open all the doors, shut the doors. We know the King of Kings. And I think, like it says today, if you hear his voice, don't harden your heart. You know,
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good. Okay, good. Well, Jedediah, did you want to go ahead and shoot at it? Shoot at the
Yes,
target.
sir.
That was good.
Yes.
Thank you,
I,
brother.
I love what I had to say. And I also love what he had to say earlier as well. Because it made me, think of the King of Kings, when he talks about, you know, if your right eye causes you to stumble, pluck it out. You
but
know,
yeah,
those are the things where it's like, I think the first thing you got to do is identify it. Because if you can't identify it, then it'd be hard to get rid of. You know, like how he said with the whole addict thing, you got to admit that you have a problem first. Once you admit you have a problem, then you are able to truly, with a pure heart, seek out a solution, right? Because every problem has a solution. And the problem that we have in our life, most likely, I ain't gonna say most likely, at times, is us, you know. So that's the examining part. Um, so I always want to look at those things in my life that is, causing me to stumble, causing me to uh, to not see things as clear as I should, as I said earlier about, having these this precious gift that we have of being in covenant with the Father through His Son. He also talked about in was it Luke 12:48. It says, "For unto whomever much is given, of him shall be much required." So we have this precious gift. And the last thing we want to do is store it away or trample on it. I couldn't imagine someone taking the time out to give me something, to buy me something or build me something, and I just throw it on the floor and walk on it. You know, why would I do something like that? I wouldn't do that to anyone here on earth. So why would I do it to the Father who is in the Shemayim, who has given us a second chance, who has sent his son to give us basically redemption. So it's just about finding the things in my life. What is it that's causing me to have this leaven? Why am I lumped up? You know, um, earlier you had talked about, I think yesterday, about things that I may compromise with. That's a little leaven. Compromising is not always a good thing.
Right.
Compromising may resolve certain what you call it conflicts, but when it comes to the word of Yah, there is no compromising. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just pick a scenario that came to my head. When it comes to eating clean, there is no compromising. You know, you want to cook your bacon over there and get all the grease up on my beef. Nah, I, oh, you're not eating it. It don't matter. I don't want to have anything to do with that.
Right.
Um, and it's just so many things that we can find ourselves compromising with because of what we talked about earlier, the emotional part of it. And we'll do that with our family because we love them so much.
Correct.
Imagine your sibling. Your mother took care of you all your life. Your father took care of you all your life. And you want to please them. But Yeshua even talked about that. You can't be dealing with family members and expecting to please the king. You have to put those things down. And it's important for us to realize that. I know even for me, it was hard, dealing with friends, family members, where it's like, I serve Yah, I can't do that. And there was certain things in my life where I should have known, like, I shouldn't have been part of, but I love this person so much, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
never do that again. I can't do that again. And because even Yeshua talked about that. Well, he mentioned it in Revelations where he said, "See, I am coming speedily." hold what you have, that no one takes your crown. You know, so I want to put myself in a position where um, I'm there to receive the promise from Yeshua, because that's the reason why we're doing it. All of this, we're doing all of this because of our love for the Father.
Absolutely. I think that's beautiful, my brother. That you guys really brought some good stuff out, very good stuff, and we could go on, because I think that I want to maybe just kind of leave us with this. Also, is I have noticed over the years that one of the things is whatever you're struggling with, it is tied to something else. All right. So sometimes we have to be mindful of this, but if we're struggling with something, we have to find out what it's tied to. Right. So sometimes it's not the phone, but it's what I can do with the phone when nobody can see me with the phone, when nobody, you understand? So it's not, sometimes we demonize different things and peoples and all of that. And it's really tied to something else. So if I can get victory over this, then it will help me in the other areas. Matter of fact, it might eliminate the other areas, in that. So one of the things is when we kind of struggling with something, it is tied to something else. And so let's ask the Father to reveal those things to us, the something else is, because sometimes it's not, sometimes me getting upset, say at you, it's not, sometimes that is not what you said, but it was something behind it. Say the Father been telling me to do this all the time, and then you say something about it. Now I'm upset, you know, because you said something about it, and all the time I needed to get rid of that, right? If I would have got rid of it, then my encounter with you would have been different, because I'm working on it. I got rid of it. Only thing I could tell you was thank you, brother, because okay, thank you. I've been dealing with that, and okay, I got some word from that, in that. So just different areas, and that's what I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's kind of off the dome here, but I think that if you think about that, and as we're examining ourselves, because that's something that we are doing in these days leading up, you know. Of course, when they had the temple, they would be selecting the lamb pretty soon, and then we would be taking those things in our house. We always want to give up something that we so-called take care of and love, that is leaven in this concept of where we can get rid of it. You understand? There'll always be some things that we could be able to get rid of it in that. And I think the word says 7 days. I'm just using a principle or a metaphor of that. In that length of time, it's a length of time. If you cannot do it in a length of time, then you're gonna get victory over it. All right. I think some people of the world, or some I read, said some people say 21 days or whatever, but some people say I haven't did something in a year or whatever. So in that, and you could be just a day away. So take a day at a time, and if we take a day at a time, then we can get victory over those areas that we need to. So those are the focus that we have. And like you say, we won't bring that, we won't stumble, that stumbling block. We won't stumble, but we'll be able to get those obstacles out that we need to. All right, we thank everyone for hanging in there, and we still got some people in the room too as well. So we want to go ahead and get ready to wrap this up, and hopefully, if the Father say the same, then we can build again in these areas, and hopefully that what we said tonight can even help all of us. I know I always get a power up moment somewhere. And sometimes it's more than just one moment. So it always is a beneficial to me. So I hope that this is beneficial for those that continue on a regular basis to look at it and to build in that. And even though sometimes we may hear the same thing over and over and over again, we need those things. We need reminders. So it's not necessarily, maybe you're not struggling with none of it, but we need reminders. We need the rehearsals. We need what we call today practice. So those are the things that we need in that, you know. All right, gentlemen, I think we're going to go ahead and get ready to close this thing up. And we'll say a shalom to all of you. And Yehoshua, I hope you're feeling better, my brother, in that. Just hang in there. It's going to be all right. Again, those of you that may look at this, I hope if you made it this far, I hope that it's continued to be echo to you and in that. And I don't know if somebody, I put this up, I guess, on the website, this QR code, if we have it there. I don't know if it, I should have tested out. I didn't test it out, but if you can get it off of YouTube, you'll see where we have our feast days and different things on there. So you can go there and take a look sometime, take a browse. And even you can, from the website, you can also pick up the power up as well as live. And then we leave it up for several times if I don't make that mistake on there. So, and there's some encouraging words on there as well. If you wanted to have a way to contact us, maybe you want to have some obstacles in your own life, you can get on there and send us an email, and then we can discuss those things. So that'll be good. Since I'm thinking about it, that'll be good. Just send us an email. Go to the website, send us an email on that, and of course it's Bana Israel. You have to put in the number 12. All right, and we appreciate that .com, of course. All right, so I think that's about it, my brothers. Thank you again. Appreciate you all, and may we all continue to focus as we walk. But we can do it. Hallelujah. All right, thank you again. Shalom, shalom.